Hello, how you all been doing? My name is Li Hao, and today I'm going to talk about some suggestions or improvements on the previous video I made, which is the one building tixy.land with Svelte. If you haven't watched it, here's the link to watch it. So I posted a video on Reddit the other day, and I got a few suggestions, and I realized I made a few mistakes. Thank you Nanobyte and Chance for pointing them out. In this video, I'm going to show how I'm going to fix them. So first thing is, this is the REPL that we ended the last time. So Nanobyte pointed out that requestAnimationFrame returns an integer, which should be passed to the cancelAnimationFrame. Yep, you are right. Sorry, I made that mistake. So what that means is that over here, let me zoom it in a bit. Over here, I should take the request ID over here. And to cancel it, I should pass in the ID instead of passing in the callback function. So this API is aligned with all the other callback, timeout callback style of API, such as like set timeout or set interval. They all return an ID, and they all require you to clear interval with that ID or clear timeout with that ID. So requestAnimationFrame API works the same way as well. So that's my bad on my side. And then I think, what else? Okay, so the other suggestions being made is that actually the callback function for requestAnimationFrame, which is the update that we pass it in, actually takes one parameter, which is the time. And this time is actually the same as window.performance.now. The value is the same. So I can, instead of passing it like this, and it still works the same. Right, so that's tip number 2. And then the next thing is Chance mentioned that actually we can put a delay rather than having to divide by 1,000 so that we don't update on every frame. So that's interesting, right? So we divide by 1,000 so that it moves slightly slower than it original is, right? This is moving very fast, and if you divide by 1,000, it moves slightly slower. But then because we update this t value on every requestAnimationFrame, meaning Svelte is going to update all the value, all the styles on every frame. Since we are dividing by 1,000, do we necessarily need to update it on every frame? Let's check that out, right? So if I'm not going to update on every frame, then how should I write it? Probably I will keep a variable called the last time, or maybe last t. Okay, time. Sorry, bad mistake. I should make up my mind of naming variables. So I have a variable called last time, and probably I initialize with just 0. So if the time minus last time is greater than 1,000, meaning since the last time that we update is more than 1,000 millisecond, then only we want to update the t value, right? And then at the same time, you're gonna update the value last time as well. Right. Immediately you can see that this moves much slower. It's actually updates on every second, right? So I'm not sure is this what we are going for, but I'm pretty sure that this doesn't look as smooth as it was previously. So I mean, yeah, so if we are not going to update on, we are going to just update on every second, then this is the effect we're getting. But what we want is actually updating on every frame. According to your browser and device, probably in most cases is like 60 frames per second, which is updating 60 times faster than it is. So if you want to do this, if you want to update it slower, this is one of the way to do it. But if not, I think in our case, I think this is good enough. So why is this? I think the last thing most people may curious about is why is this number um, affecting, like, making it slower or faster? So the time moves linearly, right? The value of the time increase as fast as, like, in terms of milliseconds, right? And then we're going to pass this value of time to, say, the sine function or square root function and stuff, right? So if the value increase very fast, then this the value of change the value the value of the sign of itself will change very fast as well, right? The rate of change is very fast. We can slow that down by adding, like, uh, making the value increase slower by dividing it with, like, some constant, right? I can make it slightly slower by divide by 100, or maybe divide by 10 would be much slower, much faster, and I can make it even slower by dividing by 10,000. Okay. I think it's too slow to noticeable, maybe 5,000, right? This thing is still updating on every frame. It's just that the value it calculates it's much slower. And I think one last thing is that in JavaScript, when you divide, it's not integer divide, so you get, like, decimal points, and that small value changes is still going to affect the result that math sign gets. The value still is going to change. It just change at a much slower pace. Sorry. Yeah. So that is the three suggestions that I saw on Reddit. So if you have any other suggestions or improvements that you want to, if you think about this video, please comment down below so that we can learn and improve together. Thank you. So thank you for staying till the end. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to stay notified of my next video, please hit the subscribe button down below. As always, stay safe and well. See you next time.